Howdy, folks. This is that literary lady, and you're listening to the 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for helping making our program a success year after year. Well, I have a surprise for you today, a very special guest, my mentor. And on the very first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Mr. Angel Guerrero. Hi, Angel. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. And I just want to read everyone a short paragraph from your bio here. Angel was born and raised in the great island of New York City. And while facing the hard life of the concrete jungle, he was able to complete his education and receive a Master's of Chemistry from Manhattan College. His passion for health and fitness led him to also complete certifications in nutrition and fitness training, of which he applied to his life and the lives of hundreds of others over the years. He has worked in the corporate world for leading Fortune 500 companies. In 2000, he took a leap of faith and jumped full steam ahead as an entrepreneur and became an award-winning business owner shortly afterwards. Angel, I am so impressed because you're mentor for 3 years now?
It has been very fast, but yes.
And I knew things about you, like the public speaking. Of course, that's how we met, and then also your web designing. But I had no idea that you held a master's in chemistry, and I had no idea that you were somewhat of a health and fitness coach.
It was a long time ago, I guess. Sometimes people might call it the first life, but it was. I was a young man, and I just did what Mom and Dad told me. I had a love for chemistry and science, and I just kept going and going and going and going. Got to the master's degree and realized I got to make some money now.
Right.
So once that was done, I quickly went into the job market, and at the same time, like any young entrepreneur, young kid out of college, I needed to make some extra money, and God had blessed me with a decent physique at the time, and I just said, well, let me look into this, and I lived in Brooklyn, in Flatlands, Brooklyn at that moment. Got close to a gym, walked in there, made friends with folks, and they said, yeah, you should come and become a certified trainer. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and got into it, got my certifications, did a lot of fun stuff with people, keeping them in shape, making sure they knew how to use the equipment properly. And it just taught me a whole different avenue of customer service and how to really attach myself to people and look at it from their point of view of what they're there for. You know, some folks are just there just because they want to become the Adonis they wanted to be. Right. Others are just there because they're looking for a date. And I was off the market, so I didn't even have any interest. And it was really hilarious, just all the different types of characters I met that came in and out of the gym, people trying to show off to their friends, and I had to quickly slam that down because they were going to hurt themselves.
Right.
And many, many stories that took me into a 2-year career of personal training and coaching, educating folks on some basics of health and wellness, the myths and legends of diet programs all over the world. It's still going on today, but it was just fun during that time just because folks were just really interested in turning themselves around. And I enjoyed it. And then after that, it was just enough to get me by, and I continued pursuing my love of business after that.
Okay, and you can kind of tell that you still implement some of the traits of your personal training and fitness because, and I say this in the most innocent way, Angel is very good looking. He has a very nice physique. You can tell that he takes care of himself.
Thank you. And I appreciate that.
In addition, I want to say Angel has a beautiful wife, Sharon, who he's been married to for 10 years. And he has the 3 most adorable children, Angelina, Nora, and Angel Gabriel. And one of your daughters, or both of them, are they models?
Actually, both of them became models for quite some time. Angelina was first. It was just on a recommendation of a friend who just said, here's a friend of mine who's a talent agent. And, of course, I took it with a grain of salt because I just said I've heard all these terrible things that can happen with talent agents trying to steal your children or steal your money. But I went to it, and it turned out to be an extremely professional outfit here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Fantastic time. I took my girl to some of the most fabulous magazines and companies that wanted to just have her market their product. And even all the way up to, I think the biggest moment in our career was Kohl's, department store, and American Girl. And I was just proud of her because she just had fun, and that's the only reason we were doing it, just to have fun. She got paid money. I had to submit a 1099 for a 6-year-old. It was crazy. But it was really fantastic. A lot of good learning experience for her to really understand that side of the world, which she was gifted, of course, to be beautiful. And then Nora, her sister, followed along just briefly. Angel Gabriel, he was still too young to really know how to sit still for the camera. And then over time, they got bored with it. They actually just said, oh, that's enough. I don't feel like doing it anymore. And now they just do it for Mom and Dad when we throw the camera at them all the time, and they act like a bunch of little clowns in front of the camera, and we enjoy it.
Which is a lot, and that's one of the things that I admire about Angel. You see a lot of men who are, especially entrepreneurs, who are out trying to make a living for their family. And as we all know, entrepreneurs work a lot harder than the average person working in corporate America. And so in a lot of cases, the family suffers because that person is out trying to make the money to take care of their families. And one thing about Angel is that he is always spending time with his family. And that is one thing that I admire, and I think that's an example for a lot of men. Yes, it's important to make money and take care of your family, but if you're not with the family, what's the purpose? So I do admire that about you.
Well, thank you. I've learned about that, and it's very humbling to hear it from that end. One of the, I guess, traditions or philosophies, whatever you want to call it in our household, has come from my wife from the first time I ever met her to the first time we both decided to be entrepreneurs. And that was, we just got to do what we got to do. And when she gave me that phrase, it was permission to get things done, but not on the sacrifice of the love and affection of the family. Because you're right, if you make all this money and you don't even remember what your daughter's favorite ice cream is or your son's favorite catchphrase of the month, you really are missing too much, and it's not worth it. I think many people don't know how to live around their means and be humbled by just the enjoyment of having a roof over their head and enjoying friendships with people they love or a community that they're a part of. It's time to get back to basics. I think we get showered with the brainwashing of let's get the biggest mansion we can get on the block, let's get 3 or 4 cars, let's go ahead and buy our kids the best of the best. And then when the credit card bills come, you realize, what am I doing this? When the mortgage is no longer something that we really want to spend on and it's becoming a burden, you realize, why am I in this 5,000 square foot home with just my wife and I? Why don't I scale down a little bit and maybe enjoy the fruits of a great community of people that actually want to get to know me for who I am and not for how much money I have? And it really starts to make you humble, and it really starts to make you feel like what is important in life. And you're absolutely right. I have enjoyed every minute of being at home with my family, enjoying my children, seeing them grow up, being a male in the PTA, being a guy that has date nights with his daughters and with his son to enjoy just conversations about everything. Spending time with the wife and quiet time together, our intimacy, whether it be at home or outside, enjoying ourselves with the community. We have a budding, loving relationship, even 10 years. And we're not young spring chickens either. We're older. We started in life older to have children, and now we're experiencing a lot of things that a lot of adults fear. But I got news for you. It's awesome. It's amazing watching these kids grow up. It's amazing letting them show you what it is that you are going to learn about yourself. And as a professional speaker, I have the best material on the planet from these kids. I haven't documented all the stuff. You as a writer, of course, you just got to spend the time to write down some of these things. And I just wish I did, because it just comes at you and you're like laughing. And then where's a pen? Where's a pad? I need to write this down. This is unbelievable. This is great stuff. So it's just, it really does feed your life tremendously.
That is so awesome, and hopefully you can get a book out one day soon. Now, I'm a public speaker. You are a professional speaker. Can you tell our audience what's the difference?
Oh, the difference is huge. First is the most obvious. It's pay.
Right.
You're getting paid as a professional speaker. You have a business. You have contracts. You have clients. You have work that you are promoting and getting the word out to the various audiences that you serve. So when they call you, you actually are doing business. You're just not saying, sure, I'd like to come. Are you buying me lunch, or do I bring my doggy bag? You know, that's a public speaker. You know, public speaker is doing it for fun, is doing it still because they're kind of feeling the waters. They enjoy the camaraderie and the glory perhaps that comes with that. But when you become a professional speaker, you're saying, okay, I have a gift, and I want to now, as this beautiful country of ours offers, get paid for that gift. And it takes a lot of work. It takes areas that we need to really dig deep into and use all the business and marketing skills that you hear about for any brick-and-mortar business or consulting business.
Okay. And what suggestion would you give someone that is a public speaker, a tip on transitioning from public speaker to professional speaker? How do you suggest that person go out and turn that into a paying gig?
Well, that could be a workshop in itself without question. Okay. But the summation of it, is the first thing they have to do is really find their niche. What is their niche? You know, what are they going to talk about to people? What is it that they would consider themselves, and I use this word very, very lightly, an expert in? Because the reason I say very lightly is because you can be an expert today, and it has been tomorrow, just because the way technology is changing so much in our society, and people are changing the way they handle people skills and so on. That's very important, is to know what your niche is, what are you going to talk about, what things can you have. And I always use this number also lightly, a good 5 to 10 major topics that you really feel you've got a firm grasp on. And that's about good. It's 5 to 10 topics, because that's going to give you a nice audience mixture when you send out a topic list or what you like to speak on, and you have 5 to 10 of them there. That particular potential client is going to say, okay, I have some choices here. I have some interesting things. And the point of each of the topics is not just to be up there to speak. That's far from the truth. It's what are you going to leave behind to those people that is going to change their life.
Right.
Now you have now your bullet points are saying, what is it for you? What you're paying me X amount of dollars, and and that's the obvious part, but what am I leaving you that's of much more value than that?
Right.
And that's where you can spend time with books, you can spend time with videos and mentors to find out what is the audience craving about, what are they looking for, because oftentimes we put ourselves in a bubble and think, oh, well, my topic is everybody needs it. Everybody that has breath in life, they need it. And that's not true. You have to customize these things to literally matching that audience that you're going to talk to, whether it's a women's group, a children's group, elderly, corporations, nonprofits, and the list goes on and on and on of the various audience we have. And your goal is that your topic can go to each and every one of those audiences, because it's harder to build new topics, but it's much easier to find more audiences. And when you kind of get that one in your head and you have a solid 5 to 10 topics that are very, very universal, then your country is open to you. Your state, your community, your world, wherever you plan to speak, you'll have now many, many audiences to satisfy before you have to start a whole new subject or a new topic to add. And the key is always customize it. But once you get that, you have to sit with mentors. You should join your local speakers association in chapters in your state, in your hometown, so you can see what the pricing is like, and you can see what type of pricing you want to start with, what type of fees you want to go ahead. You've got to make your contracts. You definitely want to make your marketing plan so you know exactly where you're going to go and start and where you're going to see yourself 2 or 3 years down the road with this. And don't be afraid of failure, because that is going to be the speaker's mantra. Failure first, success is right around the corner from the next one. And that's really the biggest deal. And what I mean by failure is just that you're knocking on doors and they're not interested. You've got to get past that and begin the process of knowing that There will be some people that are going to talk with you and be with you, and they're going to like you, and they're going to recommend you, and that process takes a little bit of time to get used to. So don't be afraid of the free bono talks. If it's a good-sized company or a good-sized organization, it looks good on the resume, go for it. Do the pro bono talk and add that on, get a recommendation or testimonial from them. Videotape all your stuff no matter where you're talking, because that's going to be a key component to showing people how great you are in front of a group. Don't worry about professional photography or professional videos. In this day and age, a flip camera or our smartphones are more than enough to satisfy somebody these days that you are definitely someone they want to hire. Later, when you make some money and you got some advertising dollars extra, then you can go ahead and hire some professionals to do some extra work for your websites, for your other marketing materials, etc. But in the beginning, don't be afraid to send them a YouTube video that came out of an iPhone or something. It is perfectly acceptable. They're looking at you. They're not looking at the quality of the picture.
Right. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, Angel is my mentor. I met Angel through Toastmasters that I joined, and Angel happens to be the award-winning member of Toastmasters International 2009 District 37 Evaluation Contest. He was a champion for that year, and he was also this year's first runner-up for the Humorous Speech Contest. Now, Angel, did Toastmasters kind of help you decide that you wanted to get into public speaking, or were you already in it and it just helped you hone on your skills?
It was really interesting. I still remember the day, 3+ years ago. I'm sitting in a room full of business owners. It's one of these referral groups locally here, and I got up and I literally was ready to move on from the group and pursue just having more time to do other things. But I asked the group, standing up in front of everybody, how many folks here would pay to see me speak? And everyone raised their hand except one person, except one. And this one individual, my good friend Matt Carrington, he went ahead and sent me an email, a very long one. The very next hour, 2 hours later, I read it in my house, and it was supremely humbling. He just simply said, I've never seen you speak, and from what I've seen so far, you need some polishing. Have you ever heard of Toastmasters? And I laughed. I said, well, you know what? Mac is a very smart guy. I respect him, love him as a brother. I said, sure, but I'll go to whatever meeting you want me to go to. I went there, and I fell in love with the organization almost immediately. I wrote my check, in fact, that very same day to go ahead and join. I was so turned on by the fact of individuals that were ready to listen to my stuff, listen to what I was going to say, and then above all of that, sit down and write me hardcore, transparent suggestions and feedback how I could get it better. And over that time period, it just worked. It was constantly giving me a chance to test the waters with new things, try a different angle, reach out to something I never thought I'd try in front of a crowd and say, okay, let's try this one, or hone in on a gift that I already have and make it better. And this group after group, they all did the same exact thing. So without question, it changed my life to really saying, yes, I definitely am professional speaking material. I can do this. It was confirmation. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to get that. There's been friends of mine who they confirmed they still needed work.
Right.
And I was like that, too, at some days. Some days it was just, where did you come up with that junk? What were you thinking? And they'd give me all the feedback as well. But the camaraderie and the professionalism that the organization brings was unmatched. I was so excited and still am to this day. I mean, you can sign me up over and over again just because I believe so much in the organization.
And Angel is a very captivating and entertaining speaker. And when I say entertaining, it's not just in the humorous sense, although some of his speeches are very humorous. They are very inspiring and they're thought-provoking. And I want to challenge the people who are listening, if you want to hear some of Angel's speeches, go out to his YouTube page, which is Angel Guerrero. The last name is Guerrero. And you can get an idea of why I chose this person to be my mentor. Now, in Toastmasters, you're assigned a mentor, And it's not a lifetime thing. I mean, it can be, but it's typically not a lifetime thing. It's a few months of them helping you and motivating you to get your speeches done and giving you some feedback on what you can improve and, of course, cheerleading you on for the things that you actually do that are well. But I tell Angel up front, if you are going to agree to be my mentor, this is going to be a lifetime thing pretty much. And he went for the challenge, and I call him every now and then and ask for advice, and sometimes I call the event, and he's always there ready and willing to help me and give me some feedback, and he's very positive, never negative, even in the feedback on where I need to improve. So I do challenge you to go out on his YouTube page and listen to some of his speeches because, again, they are very captivating, and you'll see why I chose him to be my mentor. Now, Angel, tell us a little bit. I know you have the business side, but I see you so caught up in the speaking side, which is great, that I hardly hear anything about or hear you saying, although I know it's there, anything about your business as far as the web designing side. Tell us a little bit more about As Web Pros.
As Web Pros is kind of interesting. It's been going on in my life for the past almost 12 years now. I was in the web industry before the web really was a necessity. And I used to target businesses, and they'd say, I don't need a website. What are you, crazy? Who needs websites? They're gonna pass away. Little did they know, of course, what I was seeing, and many other tens of thousands of people at the time were seeing, that this was going to stay for a long time, and it has, and it's changed the dynamics of business. So I don't call myself a visionary, but I saw, like many other folks did, that the web world was going to be something fantastic to make money off of. And all I've done is just continually learn, just like everyone else, what's the next trend, what's going on. But over the last, I would say, 5 years, it's come down to going back to basics again, where the web world is now looking for connectivity again. Right. It's no longer interested in an 800 number. It's no longer interested in a chat feature or something. They want people. They want to interact with a company that's going to touch them, love them, kiss them, kick them, whatever the case may be. Right. And and how do you do that? Well, in the web, you now have to get back to looking like the company that people are walking in the door to. Or even if you don't have a brick-and-mortar business, that there's a real friendly face there, not this stock photo or all this other stuff that really is missing the boat. And you have to get in touch with your audience, meaning back to customer service. Right. What if that order didn't go right? What would you do normally? Would you put them through an 800 number and make them go backwards to try and defend themselves? Right. Or do you just say, hey, not a problem, send it back to us, we'll pay the shipping, and we'll go ahead and send you one out right away. We apologize. How hard is it to say, I apologize? Right. That's really what's happening, and for our company, we've taken that stance very hard, where we are saying, if we're going to design your website, we want to get to know you, we want to get to know your company, we want to understand what it is that you're doing to make your customers feel happy and make that a mutual beneficial relationship. So by the end of the day, that website, even if it has stock photos, at least it's mirroring you guys. It's mirroring who you do, what you do, how you do it, and it has connectivity from the very first page, not the later pages. It's just, here it is. Here's where our pricing is, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. That's what you want to know. There it is. Or here is our product that you're most interested in right there on the home page. I didn't hide it. I don't want to do that. Here it is. Enjoy it. Give us questions and answers. Talk to us. Here's our phone number. Very, very simplistic details now that is really what people are looking for. And that's how we're designing sites. So we're a local company here in Greensboro. We've had the honor of building sites throughout the country and across various states, every type of business under the sun, no matter what, we've kind of had a taste into. And we just spend a lot of time helping them just to make sure that they really enjoy themselves. Okay, awesome. And just typically, just a couple of your main services that you provide. What are those? We are so simplistic. We are a simple web design company. We never dived into the social media aspect. We make sites what we call search engine friendly. Mm-hmm. That just means that we got all the basics in there so that they can find you relatively simple. But we've partnered with a various amount of companies locally here who have the other extensions that people are most interested in, whether it be mobile phones, apps, social media management, etc., graphic design. I have people that I hire out here locally to do that. I don't do it myself, although I'll make minor edits to photos and graphics and things like that, but never the big marketing stuff that sometimes people want to do. I stayed away from that for the reason that we started this whole conversation. I didn't want this company to get so diverse that I would not be home as often.
Right.
I really measure that constantly all the time. Web design, I build them, they look at them, we send drafts, they like it, we launch it, done. And then we're there, of course, any day of the week to make sure that if they have any questions, we can help them, but it's strictly that. And that has kept me very much at ease with keeping this business so successful as long as it's been, because we just stay away from all the other stuff. And when I do talks, of course, I'll talk about social media, or I'll talk about the other things that relate to the web industry, but I'll never go beyond 101 or 201 in terms of education. You know, the 301s and all of that, where they're really digging deep into how do you make your web page shoot out into the lightning bolts and your social media have tens of thousands of people following you. I go to those myself and I let someone else talk. I don't do them myself. I don't want to get into that realm so much.
Gotcha. And Angel is very, very active in the community. He is a giver. Some of the things that he does, he's an advisory council of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club of Greensboro. He's a leader with the Eagle Resourcing Network here in Greensboro. He's a change agent with Impact Greensboro, class of 2012. And he's a children's leader for Bible Study Fellowship International. And I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. But he's also a fourth-grade Sunday school teacher at Lawndale Baptist Church. He's served in leadership roles with Greensboro Merchant Association and the Greensboro Latino Professional Forum. And he received the Mover and Shaker Award for Business Leaders Media Magazine in 2009. Now, Angel, I read that you were an evangelist in training. Tell us a little bit about that if you can.
One of the terms that I coined, evangelist in training, is really just that. When you're understanding your faith and you understand that the main mandate that our Lord has commanded us is to go out and make disciples of all nations, that is a never-ending training session. I can never call myself truly a full-blooded evangelist. I am learning always how to truly know where the walk is. There's only two ways to follow the Lord Jesus Christ. One is following.
Right.
And if you look at the visual, imagine yourself walking down a path and your Lord is in front of you and you're following. The problem with that is you end up sometimes getting a little bit distracted by the sides, and then you start pulling back. And before you know it, you're like half a mile behind who you were just following. And that could be very dangerous. Whereas if you learn how to walk with the Lord, that means you are literally at his side. You might be holding on his coattails, holding his hand. You're engaged in conversation. You are looking face to face at the creator of the universe. Now there's no way you can get distracted. You're paying attention. You're listening. You're talking. You're engaging. That is the position truly that I am always striving to reach, is walking with the Lord, not following him. And that's where the coin term came, evangelist in training, because I'm still following. I've only had the opportunity to walk with him a few times where things amazingly happen. But then, like any normal, as I call myself also a hypocrite, recovering hypocrite, this is where things happen and go wrong, and you fall back again. And you have to strive and struggle to get back up and run and hustle and get back on your face and get back on your legs and off your face. All of these things. I would never want to call myself any titles. With all due respect to folks that have the titles that they want to use, evangelist in training is as far as I'm going to go ever. Because I do respect where I am in life, and I'm far from there, even though in the man's eye I've done a lot of cool things, but it really is far from where walking with God is truly to be commended.
Okay. Well, great. That's great, Angel. Angel, thank you for being with us today. Folks, Angel is your first day of Christmas gift. And, Angel, thank you for being on the show. Can you tell our audience how they can reach you?
They can reach me in a variety of ways. You can go ahead and find me on Facebook, just facebook.com/Angel Guerrero. And you can just type Angel Guerrero, Greensboro, in any of your browsers, and that will pop up a variety of pages of everywhere I've been. If you want to email me and say hello, it's just angelguerrero3@gmail.com, and that's kind of an easy way to find me. And I'm somewhere, someplace. It's really exciting always. I'd love to go wherever this message is going and speak to the people there and bless everyone with just a message or two that might be exciting to learn, whether it be in business or life, or children, family, adults, whatever the case is. I'm always bumbling like everyone else, and I enjoy teaching about that same bumbling, and hopefully they won't do it for their own life.
Awesome. Angel, it was so great talking to you as usual. And, folks, thank you for tuning in. And you can reach Angel at the locations he just said. And he is a great speaker, so if you have an event coming up that you need a motivational speaker for, please get in touch with Angel. And remember, he is a professional speaker. Professional speakers get paid, so keep that in mind. But I do encourage you to contact him. He will be an inspiration and an asset to any of your events. Now, join us tomorrow where we have another surprise for your second day of Christmas. I'm that literary lady, and this is the 12 Days of Christmas.